What is happening? And welcome to another Photography Talk episode. And friends, today's going to be a little bit more of a... This is going to be a fun video to do, although I say that a lot. But you know what? Every time I get to get in front of the camera and be with you guys and kind of jibber jabber about photography or what's happening in the industry, it's always a lot of fun. But let me get you up to speed in terms of what I've been doing in the last 6 to 8 months or so. See, get it, like photography, like anything else that you might find interesting doing, if you don't have the right tools, photography can be a drag. Now, as the title of this probably gave way to what this video is going to be about, the the f-stop Tilopa 2, 1 year, actually, this is a 13-month review. But this is the reason why we enjoy doing long-term reviews is because anybody out of the gate, out of the box, can take something out and, wow, this looks fantastic. This looks great. And, don't get me wrong, we have those videos as well. They're first impression videos, and they are meant to be taken a certain way. But I think there's much more merit, much more meaning to a long-term review, because now we have the opportunity to get out there, beat the hell out of whatever it is that we're reviewing, and give the product the opportunity to crack if it needs to crack, and which, of course, is not a good thing, but it also gives us an opportunity to develop more of an understanding as far as where a product shines and where it's kind of dim. And when it comes to camera bags are super important for a variety of reasons. We're talking about being able to enjoy the craft. And if you head out and if you have a bag that is just, it's just digging into your shoulders, and you have it full of a bunch of gear, man, that's going to make a crappy experience, and you might not enjoy getting out behind your camera as much because the pain that's associated with it. And like anything else, and speaking of which, using that as an example, straps on a camera bag are kind of like a pillow or a seat that you sit in quite often and so forth. If a company's using inexpensive components, that padding during that first impression video that you did that was oh so comfortable, and it's the best on the planet, after continued use for long hours in a long period of time, it loses that softness and that cushion, and now it becomes an absolute drag to wear. And I'm not saying that with this, but I'm letting you know, using that as an example, the reason why we do long-term reviews, because when a company uses inexpensive products, it happens a little bit different with different products and so forth, but it's just a matter of time, not a matter of if, might, or maybe, but when that product starts to give out. And that's generally what we like to be able to share with you guys in terms of long-term reviews. Anyway, so over the last 6 to 8 months, what I've been doing here is, over the next probably 2 months, you're going to see a lot more camera bag reviews, a lot more review items coming out, because we've been testing the hell out of a lot of bags, not just from f-stop. We have more from Nomadic. We have more from Low Pro. As many of you know, well, that snuck up on me quick. I have a set amount of bags that I did a video last year, and I think I'm due to do one this year as well. My top favorite all-time camera bags. Can't remember whether I did one this year, but I know I did one last year. They're right over there. There are 9 bags in one case. Now, this bag, I had the original f-stop. You know what? Holy smokes. I've been using f-stop bags 7, 8 years. I think I just dated myself there. Not much, but the original one was a Centauri. It was white. If any of you have been with f-stop bags for a while, you know exactly just how amazing that bag was. The only downside with it was bone white. Well, it was a downside, and it was one of the things that I found super attractive about the bag. It was one of the only bone white bags I've ever seen, and it was a style of bag like this. I mean, it was a beast of a bag, but boy, that bag was amazing. But being a landscape photographer, again, the negative to this thing is it got so dirty. It wasn't long before it was like tan, and then little bits of. It didn't look good at the end, but it was such a well-functioning bag, and I beat the hell out of that thing. I put some miles on that bag. But going back to this here, so we're going to be breaking down some of the pros and cons, how I use this bag, and just kind of setting the stage for what you can expect moving over the course of the next handful of months. This is not the only one. I've been testing out because a lot of you have asked about other f-stop bags, and so we've been testing quite a bit of these things, and yeah, some pretty interesting stuff here. But anyways, guys, look, before we go diving into all the fun with this review here, look, we put these things together obviously to help inform you on a particular product. If you're on the fence about buying a particular bag, tripod, whatever it might be, my goal here is to provide you with as much information from my experience. Again, I'm going to let you know things I like. I'm going to let you know things I don't like. You may agree, you may not. But at the end of the day, look, if you go out there and pick up a bag or a tripod or whatever it may be is that I'm jibber-jabbering about, you go out there and spend your hard-earned money on that. When that comes in, you're going to have a good idea of what to expect. But where I'm leaning with this, friends, look, there's that YouTube algorithm down below. If you find some value with this video and we help you out, please, by all means, consider hitting that like button because it really does help with the channel. And hell, we appreciate it as well. That said, my friend, pull up a seat in. Let's go. All right, before we get into my opinion, how I've used this bag and my overall, pros and cons of what I think of this thing here, if this is the first time that you've seen one of these bags right here, let me go over through some of the specs. Let me get that in frame there. Let me go through some of the specs of this thing to get you up to speed on what this bag is, and that will help also answer what it is not for you. This is a 50-liter capacity, so this is great. The reason why I really like this bag is because it has a ton of space in it. Now, this is 24.5 inches tall by 13.7 inches wide, and it's about 11.1 inches deep. This thing weighs about 4.2 pounds, so it's not exactly a light bag, but it isn't overly heavy as well, considering this is a 50-liter bag. And one of the things that I've answered questions about in the past with regards to this here is the weight. And I've had a handful of people say, well,
Alex, that's kind of heavy.
Well, here's the thing. You want quality. Quality is going to come with a price. And I'm not referring to physical, I don't know where that noise came from, but you get a point. The dollar value. I'm talking about weight. So for example, straps, although these are not heavy, but you want good material that breathes, you want durability, you want something that's going to last and is worth your investment of your money. There's going to be a little weight to it. This company, for example, talking about weight, from the first generation of this bag here, they made some changes. And for the life of me, I can't recall what the weight of the original Tilopa bag was, but one of the things that I absolutely loved when they came out with this one, you see, the original Tilopa bag earned a spot on my favorite wall over there. So you may recall that video, when I did my 10 favorite bags of all time, I shared with you guys, I do a lot of testing of camera bags. Most of them I do not keep, but a few select bags I do keep. The Tilopa was one of the bags, and one of the things that it was okay, didn't bother me, but they had a bunch of plastic hardware on it. And when they came out with the Tilopa 2, they have all this absolutely amazing metal on here, and I really like the alloy. It looks fantastic. It's functional from a functionality standpoint. It's much more durable. And again, when you look at on this amazing green finish that they have here, it looks absolutely stunning if you're into the looks category. But anyways, they did a really good job. So weight, you want durability, it's going to come with a little bit of weight. Now the exterior material of this thing, this is a Diamond 315 DHT nylon ripstop with DWR coating and DPU layer.
I know what most of you are thinking, Alex, what the hell is that?
Well, short terms, it's a proprietary f-stop fabric that they have that is lighter, stronger, and much more weather resistant than not only what they've used in the past, but other bags out on the market. So it's just short term of it. It's pretty badass material. I've beaten the piss out of this bag. I've thrown this thing around, whereas other bags will, especially when I'm throwing this in the back of my truck with a lot of other kind of sharp, it's not sharp metal, but other stuff and so forth. Even canvas stuff will start shimming around. Because many of you guys know, I do a lot of overlanding, I do a lot of off-roading and so forth. And the back of my truck has a rhino spray in there. And that can be quite abrasive. It's something that's shimmying around when you're going down some sort of logging trail for 50 miles. Yeah, it starts cutting into fabrics and so forth. This bag has held up, and there is no evidence on here that this thing where the fabric has been compromised. So this fabric is absolutely amazing. Now, earlier in the video, I spoke about the shoulder straps on this thing. These straps right here are absolutely next level comfortable. And that was one of the things that when I first did my initial review, I pointed out. But I also pointed out in the beginning of this video, from my experience with a lot of camera bags, you can take them out of the box when you first get them, and they're going to be super comfortable because like a pillow or a couch. The more you sit into it, like at a cheap couch or something, it's going to get this indent into it. Shoulder pads are the same way. They start losing a lot of that comfort. These things are made from bloom foam, which is algae based, and the contour belt, which I don't use that often, is made of the same material as well. Now there's also, speaking of comfort and speaking of something that also ties into the weight of this thing as well, there's an aluminum frame inside this that also helps with the comfort and the carrying experience. And this also helps shifts the weight from the pack down to your hips, which again, these guys really dumped a ton of research into the comfort and how they basically put these things together. So again, there's not, out of all the bags I have, this is the first bag that, many of you know, Pneumatic. I absolutely love the Pneumatic bags. The Peter McKinnick bags are hands down some of my favorite bags on the planet. This is the first bag that knocked the Peter McKinnon bag out of the #1 spot. It's a very close #1, #2-ish. I mean, it's really, this bag is that badass. And I say that because you guys know how much I love that bag. Now, anyways, there's upgraded weather-resistant zippers in this thing. The zippers are woven into to add strength and durability. So again, when we're talking about something that is made to last, something that's made to be thrown around, I mean, your camera gears in here, you're not going to want to throw it around, but you get what I'm saying. Something that's going to take a beating. Again, when you look at how they put this bag together and how it evolved from the original one, they took something that was good to great and made this into absolutely extraordinary. Now, the hardware on this thing is a combination of T6 aluminum and plastic, and the components are extremely well made, and they're high strength and ensure long-term durability, which again, you can start seeing continuity with a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about this bag. Now, the bag also has heavy-duty stitching throughout industrial bond thread, and which is an indication of how durable, I sound like a broken record, how durable they put this thing together. Now, one of the things that obviously with a bag like this, you want excellent organization is storage. Go figure. There's storage in the lid of this thing. You have storage all over this thing. Plus, the main interior of this thing has a ton of space, which I'm going to get into a little bit more about the storage aspect of this here momentarily. All right, so while on topic here, one of the cool things that I really like about this bag, and going back to, it's always fun to find Easter eggs. So here is the strap that holds these together here. If you look closely, this is a safety whistle. So again, a little Easter egg, and just this bag is loaded full of a ton of really cool stuff that is just really well thought out. And when you're out and about, you run into an emergency with either yourself or somebody you come into on a path, you have an emergency whistle there. Now let's talk about some of the attachment points. There are 22 gatekeeper attachment points. So whether you have ski strap loops, ice axe loops, bungee loops, and so much more, this bag is really loaded to the gill. Now the inserts of this bag here really enhance the organization of your gear even more. Now, mind you, I only have a few things in here right now because I'm in my studio. But anyways, so these inserts here are absolutely, oh, I just noticed my my cap is not on my 7200 there. But anyways, as you can see here with the inserts here, the bag works best with their Pro Large and the Pro XL. These are the inserts that we're talking about here from F-Stop, and they are absolute dream. Now, they also do have a combination of small. You can actually use a combination of small, medium, large, or XL inserts in here. Now, one thing I think is a good opportunity to segue off of here. First off, I'll actually close off with. This actually comes with a 20-year warranty as well. I don't know why well, I've never had a problem with an f-stop bag. So it's nice to know that it has a 20-year warranty, but just saying, I've never had an issue with any of these. Now I'm going to shift gears here a little bit and talk about how I've used this bag, specifically the Tilopa here. Many of you know I do quite a bit of traveling around. I've been doing quite a bit of day trips or weekend trips to visit clients and so forth. I just got back from Vancouver. And so what I've been starting to do, you would expect a bag like this would just be for camera gear. But what I've done here is I'll take one of the inserts like this. This is I'm not sure which one this is. Okay, so this is their medium slope ICU, the internal component that goes in here. I will take the large one out, and as you can see, when I utilize this, which is plenty big enough, when I went up to, for example, Vancouver, I had my R5 in here. I had a 70-200. I had a GoPro. I had the battery pack for my laptop. And I know I'm forgetting a few things. I had a bunch of extra batteries. And so by utilizing this, then I have all the space here that I could have my toiletries. I could have my spare change of clothes. I can have everything that I needed up there. This back sleeve right here, I put my 16-inch MacBook in there, and this is actually one of the things I absolutely love. They have these magnetic little flaps all over. You can put your memory cards in. You have all the storage space up here, more storage space down here, but they use these magnets around, which I absolutely love. But where I was leading with this, and one of the things I wanted to share with you, so my opinion of this bag hasn't changed. And especially when I'm doing a long-term review, as I stated earlier, I will put products through a lot more. I'll throw them around a little bit more. I'll beat the hell out of them a little bit more because I'm trying to find, especially something like this. If you watched the original review that I did on this, I spoke about how I was really having a tough time finding things I didn't like. And so when I come in front of you for a long-term review, I'm trying to find, because I don't like watching reviews and when there's no con with it. It pulls out red flags to me. But I cannot find something that I don't like about this. And on contrary, I've grown to like this bag more, as I shared with you earlier. The Peter McKinnon pneumatic bag has always been in my #1 favorite. That has knocked out a Peak Design travel bag, which was absolutely one of my favorites for the longest time. This thing has knocked the pneumatic out of there. It's that good, especially now that I can use this by putting the smaller insert in there and using it as a day or a weekend bag when I'm traveling. It works out phenomenal. But how it works so phenomenal is that the straps are so darn comfortable. They really did a good job on this. So when I go traveling quite often, this is the bag that I'll take. If I'm doing a quick overnight or a quick weekend trip, but I need to have my camera gear with me because I'm going on a shoot or I'm photographing something, this bag is it. So, and then on top of that, they have this new color, which of course is a major home run. And actually, speaking of something I want to share with you. So now this is what I'm going to share with you is a first impression, but it's such a home run. One of the things I've wanted from these guys for some time, and apparently I wasn't the only one, is means of carrying drones around. So these guys, I'm going to have a whole nother video on these things right here. So this is, F-Stop came out with drone carriers. And as you can see here, I have my drone, the controller, and a spare battery here, although I could fit another one in here. But here's the cool part. Well, more of those magnetic spots there, or the slots there. But look at how cool. Now this is the smaller one. They have a larger one. When full disclosure, I've not used it yet, but this one is the one that I've been testing out. And look at that. That fits in there perfectly. And then even when you close this up here, you still have plenty of room to spare. Now, and actually this reminds me of another thing that I really love about this bag, and I'm trying not to cover a lot of the stuff that was in my original review, but in case you don't watch my original review, one of the things I really love about this bag are these extra long handles for grabbing the zipper, because especially I do a lot of cold weather camping. I do a lot of cold weather shooting. You have gloves on and your hands are freezing. You know, these straps right here really work well for closing or opening the bag where you want it. And speaking of things that really stand out, so on the bottom of this here, they have this kind of rubbery-ish material. They have it on all the parts where there could be possible impact, and that's what really saves this bag from rubbing in the wrong areas. And you have, geez, just reminds me of all these slots and all these different components on these bags that just really make it shine. Again, so if you're a nature photographer, a wildlife photographer, somebody that's getting out that wants a bag that you can throw around that is really weather resistant and can take a beating. Again, this is year end for the f-stop Tilopa 2, but again, I've had the original Tilopa for a year prior to that, and that thing, now that bag had some things I didn't care about, I mean, a few, but what they did was, and how they came up with this bag is they listened to people that were reviewing their bags, and they took the things that they didn't like or thought could use improving, and they really refined the hell out of it, and this is the product of that. And so, yeah, anyways, that is the end of my year one review with this. There is nothing that I don't like about this bag. I absolutely adore the bag. It is now my favorite bag that I use in the mix of all my bags over here. And one thing I'm going to point out here is on the back side of this, I showed you where I kept my MacBook. On the front here, I had my Remarkable 2 tablet, and I had my large iPad, which my son's playing around with right now, in the front of this thing. So again, this bag really punches way out of its weight class. I mean, there's just a ton of storage, and I can't recommend it enough. And so, friends, that is it for my 2022 f-stop Tilopa 2 1-year review. Actually, 13-month review. Hands down, best bag. Absolutely love it. Now, it is that time of the video where, friends, I'm going to get this stuff off my desk. I'm going to wind down here for the day. I'm going to turn off my cameras. But before I do, look, you find some value. It's time to do all that YouTube stuff. So please consider hitting that like, subscribe, and hit the bell. So therefore, if you're interested in some camera bags, as I shared with you, quite a handful of reviews coming around the corner. So you guys will definitely want to stay tuned for those. But that is it for me, guys. So anyways, hey, as always, really appreciate you swinging by, supporting the channel. Leave comments down below if you have any questions on the bag. I'll be happy to answer them. If I don't have an answer, I'll find an answer for you. But that said, friends, hey, enjoy your weekend. Get out there, stay healthy, and take your best shot.